Okay, I'm going to take you through the test that we had last week so you can redo what you need to redo. So, first question here is asking what f of 2 is. So that means we're going to insert f of 2 into the equation. So it's going to be 3 times 2 plus 6, which will equal, oh, I forgot the 2 in there. 3 times 2 plus 6 equals, oh, I was doing my math in my head. 3 times 2 plus 2, which then equals 6 plus 2, which equals 8. Okay, then we're using h this time. So we're putting 4 in. So it's going to be 4 times 4. So I'm doing 4 squared like that because it's a lot easier than typing in. And 2 times 4 minus 1. So that is going to be equal to 16 plus 8 minus 1, which then equals 23. So our next one here is f of g at 3. So that means I have to do g first at 3. So that's 4 times 3 squared. Oops. Minus 2. So that's going to equal 4 times 9 minus 2, which equals 34. Then I take this 34 and I plug it into the f, which equals 3 times 34 plus 2, which equals 104 is going to be my answer there. So I take my answer here and I plug it into the other one. Now this one here, I mixed it up a little bit. I'm pretty much asking what x equals 20. So that's the same as saying 20 equals 3x plus 2. So then I can rearrange it and go 20 minus 2 equals 3x, which equals 18 equals 3x, which go down further, I go 18 divided by 3 equals 6. So 6 equals x in that case. So that is that. Now, I'm asking you to use it graphically. So remember, this one's y of x, but this is your x value. So all I have to do is go to where x is negative 3, and then I'm just going to go up until I reach a number. Therefore, my number is 3. So it's reaching right here, so that number there is going to be 3. I'm saying y of 0, so it's saying, okay, when the x is 0, what's my y? Where's my draw? So that means I'm right here, there's y of 0. I don't have to go anywhere because the line's right there. So that also is 0. Now, y of x equals 2. So instead of giving you the x, I'm giving you what the answer is. So the answer is, my line here. The answer is 2. I'm going to change my color there so I don't get confused. Therefore, my 2 spots are, let me get my marker. It's right here and right here. So I have 2 answers there. I have negative 0.5 and negative 3.5 are potential answers there. Because I'm giving you what y of x equals. So I want to know what x value equals a y of 2. Now this here, I'm asking you for if it's a function or not. So this is not a function because this 0, this input, has 2 outputs. And then to write my domain of a discrete function, all I have to do is list the numbers. So in this case, 0, 1, 2, 3. And for range equals -2, 1, 2, 4. And there's my domain and range of those two. Now for this one, it's asking me if it's a function or non-function. This is a function because the vertical line test says it's good. It's fine here. It's my math equations. So now we have to do domain. So domain equals not give me domain equals the set such that I should have a line there. It's not giving me my math symbols up here. It should be x such that x big E any real number. I know that's ugly, but it should look something like that with a, let's just use a pen here, a such that line in there. Because if I look at domain, this is going to go on forever this way with the arrow there and the arrow there. So it's going to go on forever this way and forever this way. So that means it's any x number possible. Then below, we have range. Range equals the set of... No, one second, I'm talking to my son. We're not playing electronics outside or downstairs with the neighbors, okay? Okay. The range is y such that. Now we do have a low value here, right? So low is 1, so it's going to be, and it goes on forever upwards, so it's going to be any number greater than 1. So I can write y greater than or equal to 1. I'll use my pencil here to fill in the rest. So y, and then this here is going to look like this. Like so. That's an equal. Let's replace those two. Rewind. Try to do this nice. So and so. So y is such that anything greater than 1. Oh, and I forgot. That should read, comma, y is any real number. Y is any real number. Because it is great, it is a line. Now this one here, let's do like our little box here. These have these lines on your test. So it's x such that x is greater than -2, so I'm going to go to -2. Let's use my markers instead of making a dot. Greater than that and less than 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then here it says it's greater than 0. So it's going to start here and less than 5. So if I were to draw a little box here, so this is kind of my restriction area. Is this area here. So now I have to draw something that fills that box, yet is not a function. So I could just do anything I want here, but as long as it double backs on itself and hits the like top, bottom, sides of it. So now it fills this area plus the vertical line test doesn't happen, so it's a non-function. So let's take a look at this one. Oh. So it says x such that x is greater than 0. So if I were to set my, so greater than 0, so it's all, doesn't have any restriction there. And the range is y equals 4. Now that's an odd one because it's equal to, so it can't go up or down. So that is just going to simply be one arrow from 4 on. Because it starts at 0 and goes bigger, but is equal to 4. So in the case of domain, it's always going to be bigger than 0. In the case of range, it's always 4. So that's what I'm looking at there. All right, so now this one. State the zeros. So I know the zeros are these right here separated, so they are 0. So if I were to write this out, I'm going to write both these out. I'm going to go x plus 4 equals 0. So if I rearrange it, x equals negative 4. And the other one is x minus 2 equals 0. So my x would equal 2. So there's my zeros. X negative 4 and x2. Now axis of symmetry. Axis of symmetry, I can do it two ways. I can do it this way where I add these two together and divide it by 2. Hypothetically, these should be in brackets. So it's 4 minus 2 is going to be negative 2 divided by 2, which equals negative 1. So there's one line of symmetry. The other way, if I jot off my points here, so negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, and positive 2. Those are my x's, my zeros. Now in between here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So halfway of 6 is 3. So 1, 2, 3. So there is my line of symmetry. Okay? I insert a dashed line. I'll just put that in for my line of symmetry is going to be right there. So what's the coordinates of the vertex? Well, I have my line of symmetry, so I have my x coordinate of my vertex. So I know x is going to equal, negative 1. Therefore, I go back to the original equation, where I go y equals x plus 4, x minus 2, and I plug in my x value. So negative 1 plus 4 bracket, bracket, negative 1 minus 2, which is then going to equal, I'm going to have 3 and negative 3. Now a lot of people added for some reason here, where if you take a look, 3 bracket negative 3 is a fraction, so that's going to equal, not fraction, a bracket, so it's a multiply, so negative 9. Therefore, my coordinates of my vertex is negative 1, comma, negative 9. So if I sketch my parabola, let's change, actually, give me this. I'm going to make that blue. I'm going to make that blue, so it's different. Put my marker here, so I know my bottom of my parabola, my vertex is negative 1, negative 9. So negative 1, and I go back to negative 9 right here, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9. And there we go. So now, if I were to sketch it, this takes a lot of pressure here. Oh, that was horrible. Boom. Don't forget to add your arrows on the end. So there, that's sketched out. Now, I want to state the zeros of this parabola. So once again, let's split them. So this is x minus 5 equals 0. And once I rearrange it, I get x equal to 5. Now this one here is a little different. This is 2x plus 10 equals 0. Therefore, when I rearrange it, it's going to be 2x equals negative 10. Then I go to simplify it even more. I go negative 10 divided by 2. which equals x equals -5. Now, axis of symmetry, once again, I can do it two ways. I go 5 plus -5, then divide that by 2. Once again, need brackets. Psi equals 0 divided by 2, which equals 0. Now, if I want to do it here, I have positive 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Boom, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, halfway between those is the middle, which is right there. So I know that's my axis of symmetry. So I could write, for axis of symmetry, it's x equals 0. So what's my coordinates? Well, I got to plug in into my equation. So y equals -0.1 bracket 2 times 0 plus 10, bracket, bracket, 0 minus 5. So y equals -0.1 bracket. So 2 times 0 is 0, so that equals 10 times -5. And then I'm going to get lazy and do this. Oh, that's not what I want. I'll just do this. Equals -0.1 times -50. Right? Which then equals 5. So I know my point is, I know my point is going to be 0, 5. So if I go to sketch this, I go here, my marker, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. Let's sketch the graph. It's a very rudimentary drawing. And boom, there we go. So now, before the football game, Mr. O thinks it would be a good idea to throw shirts off the top of the school to students below. The equation is described as this here. Describes the path of the shirts being thrown off the roof. Create a table of values. All right, so I'm going to start my table of values out at 0. Because I find that really simple to do calculations with 0. So to find it, I'm going to use my h of t, but it's going to be h of 0 this time, equals -0.5 times, I'm going to do this separate here so the computer will do it, times 0 times 0 plus 8. I'll do my calculation, yes. So essentially 0 times 0 is 0, 0 times this is 0, so we're just left with 8. So I have 8 there. Let's move this all like so. Then I simply just do the same calculation with 1. 1 times 1, 7.5. 7.5. Then I do it again for 2. So h of 2 equals 6. Good. And if you believe me, so I'll do this all over again. This should be Where's my answer key? 3.5. Next one is 0. Oops. Next one is negative 4.5, and lastly it is negative 10. So let's see how else I can do this. Can I insert above? Okay. Now we're looking at, oh, let me. All right, let's do this. That fits nicely. So now first difference, we have 7.5 minus, there's going to be a negative 0.5 there. And then this is going to be negative 1.5, so 6 minus 7.5, oops. This is negative 2.5. This is a negative 3.5. Therefore, if we keep going here, all of these ones are going to be 1. So here we go. So how do we know the above? So the above line is blank. So it's quadratic. But how do we know that? 2 reasons. One is second differences are the same. 2 is the square in the formula. Okay, that's our second reason why we know. So it's got a square in the formula right here. That's how we know it is that. Graph the above. Oh boy. All right, let's go. So 0, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 1 and 7.5. That's going to be like there. 2 and 6. It's going to be there. 3 and 3.5. 1, 2, 3.5, and then 4 and 0. I really don't need to do more than 4 because the shirt's going to hit the ground. If I think about the question, it kind of makes sense along those lines. That stop here. You have to think about a question when you graph it and see if it makes sense. I had some lines that went up. I had one line that went down and then came back up, which really doesn't make sense with the thinking of me throwing a shirt off the roof. So think about what you're graphing before you're graphing. At what time does the shirt hit the ground? So the shirt hits the ground at 4 seconds. Now I didn't say it was seconds, so you could put any measure of time in there. It'd be fine. So it didn't say seconds, you could say 4 minutes, and it could be 4 minutes. Okay, EA has created a new game called Dante's Inferno. They're looking to set the price. The revenue of video game company is given by this formula. Okay, where R is revenue in hundreds of thousands, and X is price of the game. Determine the price or prices that allow the company to break even, not lose or make money. Okay, not lose or make money, that sounds a lot like 0. So we're going to find the zeros of it. So we're going to split it off and go X minus 60 equals 0. Therefore, X equals 60. Then my other one is X minus 10 equals 0, or X equals 10. So I would conclude EA can charge players either $10 or $60 to break even. Good. So what price should the game to ensure maximum profit? So maximum profit is going to be the vertex of the price along the x-axis. So we're going to add those two numbers together and divide it. So it's going to be 60 plus 10. One of these days I'll remember the brackets first. Plus, divided by 2 equals 35. So 60 plus 10 is 70, divided by 2 is 35. So that's the price that we can do to maximize our profit. And what's the maximum profit? Well, we take that x value, and so that's x equals 35, and we're going to plug it in here. So our formula is negative bracket x minus 60 bracket x minus 10. Therefore, we have negative bracket 35 minus 60 bracket 35 minus 10. Oops. We have negative, what's that, 25? 25. That would be a negative 25, and this is a positive 25. Then once we multiply that together, we get 625. So the maximum profit for this game is $625,000, since I said revenues in hundred thousands. So add 3 zeros in. And there's our game. There's our there's revenue for the game. And there's your answer key. Great. Thank you very much. Hopefully you learned something going through this, and I'll see you tomorrow.